Britain has joined the enviable ranks of countries that have drag queen story hour for kids in their local public libraries.
Oh, God almighty.
I knew I'd get that response.
Yeah.
But before we go on, if you want to support us, you can go over to lotus.com and check out my latest Deep Think, which is about Rousseau's Savage. Now, you might think, well, hang on a second, what's that got to do with this? Well, this is actually connected to why liberalism has produced Drag Queen Story Hour. Because you'll notice it's not like Russia that has this. It's not Saudi Arabia that has this. Oh, no, it's the liberal West. And it all comes from the total need for the absolute freedom of the will, which is what Rousseau was aiming at. So we are living in Rousseau's world now, and Rousseau was an absolute bloody nutter.
Right.
So, and a terrible man as well. So if you want to know more, you can go and sign up and support us for $5 a month. But in the meantime, let's go over to America, where they have...
I saw this.
It's disgusting,
you know
man.
the thing
This
they
is
do.
just... And also, what's interesting...
How to frighten the children.
Yeah. And also, what happened to children's entertainers?
Oh, look.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah,
This is
twerking in front of children.
just pathetic.
It's disgusting.
Well, but what we were talking about earlier, throughout this whole joining the dots thing and everything, is a sickness of mind.
Yes.
A spiritual sickness, if you want, if you will, and we were talking about Father Augustine and his position that he believes this is a black and white issue, spiritual issue, and this is, for me, this is probably the most the plainest example of a kind of sickness that I've ever seen. I've never. If our father died in 1988. If he came back and saw this, he actually wouldn't believe it.
Can you? Yeah.
The way we were sexualizing children.
How could you explain that?
I mean, what is it?
Well, what's interesting, though, is that Richard's partner, who died in 2010, worked at Madame Jojo's and cross-dressed for that job.
Yeah.
I worked in loads of gay clubs. Lily Savage and different people would turn up, and drag was a very respectable, if you like, and accepted profession.
Because it was for adults.
Yeah, because it's for adults. Exactly. You aim at it. The reason it's on at midnight in a gay club is because it's that demographic.
Exactly.
You know, the kids are tucked up safely in bed, hopefully.
Yeah.
And so we grew up in, well, not grew up in, we worked in that sort of marginalised world for quite a long time. And this is not it.
No.
This is politicised BS.
Yeah, it is. It is. And
Completely.
And I think sexualizing children in this way is. I mean, I think the people that are the performers are actually. I wouldn't be cheeky enough to say they're paedophiles.
Well, it's okay. I've actually got some examples.
But I think that there's something profoundly sick about people that want to do this in front of children.
Now that's always the question. That's I'm glad you hit on that, because a lot of people go, oh, what's that going to do to the children? It's like, yeah, that's a great question. We need to ask it. But why does that person want to do this?
exactly?
You know, what's motivating them?
Yeah.
So if we go to the next one, you do absolutely get some weird nonsense doing this.
Dick shamed at store. Oh my god!
So this was in, again, we're still in America here, but we'll come over to the UK very shortly. This was Panda Dolce, who hosts Drag Queen Story Hour to children, where she sings songs about children performing oral sex on them and saying "suck my dick" to them, which a group of alleged Proud Boys objected to because they're Nazis. And that's the only reason you would ever have an objection to this, because you're a Nazi.
What on earth are people? I don't get this at all. It's so beyond my experience.
Yes, it's disgusting.
It's just so disgusting, and I can't. I mean, my partner. I was with Stuart for 28 years, and he was, as Fred said, he was Madame Jojo's. He used to wear stockings, and the whole looked fantastic. Great pair of legs, I've got to say, fantastic pair of legs. But if he was sitting here now, he would not understand this.
No.
He understood very clearly what he was doing and where it belonged.
This is exactly where it belongs.
Yes.
That's a great way of framing it,
know,
because it belongs in a particular place in a particular time for a particular audience,
Exactly.
and that's adults in a particular club,
absolutely,
where it's an understood and agreed thing. It doesn't belong in a public library with children.
No, it doesn't.
You know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, okay, so this person just sings about being a nonce and getting sex acts done by children.
Really?
They just sing about it. But there are examples of actual nonces. This is great. This is Snopes. Did a convicted sex offender read to children at Houston Public Library? Do you want to scroll down a little bit?
Oh.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Even Snopes has got to be like, well, Albert Alfonso Garza was convicted of sexually assaulting a boy before taking part in the drag queen story time. It's like, then why was he allowed?
Exactly.
Exactly, right.
What is...
Look, So Garza, 32-year-old child sex offender, in 2008, he was convicted of assaulting an 8-year-old boy.
But it's okay if we just allow him into the library.
But if he's
read
part,
to children.
if he's part of the drag queen story time.
Makes it look
See,
like
this is. As you say, I'm just trying to think because we've done shows since 1978, and I'm just trying to think. Well, exactly. We've both been on the road.
I was only born in '79.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I'm old.
Be quiet.
Yeah, and we've been doing this a long time. And when I think about all the shows we've done, if we were ever asked, well, we have. In fact, we used to go to the Great Ormond Street Hospital, and we used to go and visit young kids who had gone bald through chemotherapy. And they started a thing called Fredhead, which is so we went in to try and make the kids feel better about themselves because they had no hair, we got no hair, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just imagining going into that situation and trying to sexualize it.
I didn't twerk in front of them. No twerking.
No, I think you've got to be a really, really damaged individual to do that.
Yeah,
I really do.
I agree. I think, as you say, the big question is always what's it doing to the kids. I think a bigger question is what motivates these people to do that.
Yeah.
And I think we know. I think that there is. I mean, I'm not saying that every single one of them is like this.
Yeah.
But it's very clear that there is a subsection of the drag queen story time community that is doing it to get access to children.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how would this person have access to
Yes,
children?
And also, who's rubber stamping this?
Well, that's
local authauthorities.
white liberal women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, it's very liberal that this is in liberal states. In
Right.
But let's come over to the UK.
Yeah.
So we've seen it. This is the latest disgusting import from America. In 2013, this Robert Clothier, who goes by the name Lady James, turned up for a liaison with Mark and his 8 and 11-year-old, but it turned out to be a police sting. So another nonce playing at this
What's
in the
the
UK this
matter
time.
with these people, man?
Well, I think it's literally a way that they get access to kids because they are nonces.
He was arrested at Wimbledon train station, along with a box of chocolate flavoured glow-in-the-dark condoms and pink children's underwear from Primark.
Yeah.
Oh dear, what a twat.
Well, what I find interesting not interesting, but fascinating in a way, when I first moved to London, which was in the early 80s, and I met Stuart in a gay bar in Earls Court, but so we went to those bars all the time. This was never happened.
Yeah.
Ever. It never happened. Drag queens were never like this.
Well,
there was never that kind of underbelly that you associate with this stuff.
But they didn't call themselves LGBT then, right?
It was
it was just the gay scene.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Because this is, I think, a new thing that's come in as a political angle.
Yeah.
And hiding behind this, I think, are people who are predatory.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's I don't think this is the gay community. I think this is the political community.
Yeah. No, I think that's true.
Entering and using the gay community essentially as a shield, saying, you hate gays, don't you? It's like, no, I hate nonsense.
Yes.
I know lots of gay people who are all nice.
Yeah.
And I know lots of gay people who don't want nonsense around them.
Exactly.
There's a bit of a gay kickback, isn't there, against Stonewall?
Yeah, there is.
As well now.
Yeah, because
people
it's gone woke.
Yeah, it has.
Very woke.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting, I think, about a lot of sort of lobby groups, when it takes off, the people at the top are all making money because of the subs and everything else. They achieve their political aims. So theoretically, you disband that lobby, but because I need to make a living.
I'm invested.
I've invested in this. Yeah. What's the next thing we can have around? Oh, trans. That's the next thing. Yeah. That's all it is. It's just to keep the wagon moving. Yeah. That's all it is.
And then it expands into this giant monster, doesn't it? So you've got all of these different interest groups that are just fundamentally invested in this overarching thing. Yeah. I mean, you can't stop it.
No, you can't.
No.
Anyway, let's carry on. So this is a Drag Queen Story Hour UK. First summer tour.
How long has Drag Queen Story been going? Does anybody know?
In America, quite a long time, but in Britain, it seems to be fairly new.
And what were they? Sorry to interrupt you. What were they doing before they turned up at kids' gigs?
That's a great question. I actually don't know.
No, okay, right.
I've no idea.
Right.
But this is coming to a town near you. If you just go to the next one, John, just so you can see that this is, this was in 2019 that this was first brought over.
Oh, okay.
But they're still doing it, and it's kicked up a bit of a kickback recently.
It has, I know.
Because it's become a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But you can see that you've got various libraries, and again, I mean, look at this. It's like, why are you doing this? I mean, this one isn't as overtly...
Teaching inclusivity.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Inclusivity. This is a dog whistle for left-wing activism, right? So, but why? Why not just dress normally?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine to teach kids, obviously, but why do you have to do it like that? And so it shows that it's not about the children; it's about the person.
It's
doing
about the adult.
It is. It's about the adult.
And maybe some of the parents get a kick out of it. I don't know.
Undoubtedly,
Yeah.
undoubtedly. But as Rochdale Library show, they've got it coming to their library, and so this whole tour.
The people in Rochdale won't be happy with that.
No.
I'm sure the people of Rochdale are very progressive.
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
The further north you go, the more sensible people get.
That's very true. So this is Ada D, whose real name is Seb something. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Seb Samuel, who is doing this. And again, it just makes you wonder why. Why do you need to talk to children?
Dressed like that.
Dressed like that, yeah.
But it's just like you were saying, there are children's entertainers.
Yeah.
We've had them for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And they're not weird.
And they're not weird. No, and they're not weird.
That's all it is.
They have to go through checks.
They have to go through checks.
Criminal background. I
Yeah.
bet these guys haven't.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's have a look at the kind of books they're reading, shall we? And you'll notice
It's
that
not a problem.
these books, we've got a quick description, but the description alone shows you that this is a form of political activism. So Emma and Rose are two hedgehogs in love who live in the ground by a bluebell hedge. But when Rose runs away, she gets lost and finds herself in a sticky situation. It's a story about listening to the experts.
What?
Teaching children to uncritically listen to experts.
Whoa.
And snot.
Yes, but I don't really...
Uncritically listen to experts.
Uncritically.
That's the solution to the story. They have to learn to listen to the experts.
Does it say uncritically, does it?
Well, it doesn't say uncritically, but
okay.
It's a story about listening to the experts. It's like, sorry, I don't actually want to teach my children to rely on authority to pass right and wrong. But the next one I think is even more interesting, which is Three Goats United, right? When a brown, black and pink goat tried to cross the bridge to get to the other side, a horrid white beast called Wolf appears to cause trouble. Now that is very interesting because that sounds a lot like intersectional propaganda to me. It sounds like honestly, the sort of coalition against the white beast.
Yeah. Well, also, why you could just say a horrid beast.
You could.
Why the fact that the word the color is
the colouring is a dog whistle.
It's a dog whistle. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even using when a brown, black, and pink, you could say when three goats, John, Paul, and Dave.
Yes, exactly.
And a normal person would.
Yes.
Yeah.
A normal person would individuate them, give them, pick names.
Yeah.
But in this, no, they're classes now.
Yes.
So it's the browns, blacks, and the pinks, as in like Black Lives Matter, the gay community, and Muslims or something like that against the white.
Yes.
That's the implication from this. And it's like, okay, well, that's interesting. But anyway, let's go check out their Twitter account because, of course, they have a Twitter account.
Yeah.
Not a very popular Twitter account, but they do post some interesting things, such as they say this: the steps LGBTQ people take to become their true selves can be difficult steps to climb, but by the end we'll be stronger for it. If you can go to the next one, John. And I find this fascinating because, like, there's nothing authentic about this. Like, it's fine if you want to dress up, do all this makeup. But is this your true self, or is this like massively artificial? Hence all the makeup.
Yes.
Right? And again, it's fine if you want to do it. I'm not even angry that you would do it or anything like that. It's just the fiction of it that bothers me.
Yeah, the whole gay thing. I have never in my life understood why it's such an issue.
No.
I've never understood it. It's almost as if all straight people think that gay sex is absolutely fantastic and they're jealous and they just want to, they want to have a go. Gay sex can be pretty rubbish too, So I've never understood it. That's
the side of the narrative you don't hear anywhere else, is it?
And I had a friend who was trans actually.
Yeah.
And when I met him, he was a sort of 6'1", a very attractive male, and is now transitioned into a female and is married. When that happened, this goes back about 15 years. When that happened, it never struck me as being odd.
We just hooked up for a drink, didn't we?
We hooked up for a drink. It was his decision. It was a private decision.
He's an adult.
He's made his own decision. And I completely supported what he wanted to do. It never crossed my mind that it should be some kind of quasi-political thing. And so to me, being gay has never been particularly interesting. Being trans has never been particularly interesting.
That's a great way of framing it. It's just not that interesting.
It's not interesting. I just get on with blokes better. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not some kind of weird thing. It just, you know, it's
And
actually quite mundane.
I'm sure about the use of pride. I mean, we played
You
pride
can't
gigs.
be gay and it's ridiculous.
You know, and it's like being proud of being straight. I'm just straight.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like being. I'm really proud. I'm 5'10".
Yeah.
You know,
Just don't think about it.
No, it is what it
Gay
is.
pride means nothing.
And so
means nothing.
the word pride is a very weird choice of word, I think.
I mean, I think if you go back to the early days of Stonewall, you can imagine that it made some sense there.
Yes, I'm talking about now, though.
Yeah, but now it doesn't make any sense. Back then, of course, being gay had shame attached to it.
It did,
and
yes,
so
yeah.
that I can understand the word pride from that point of view. But now it's a nonsense, I think. And I went to a gay pride thing when I was living in London. I went to a gay pride march. I'd never been to one, so I just wanted to see what it was like, and it didn't speak to me at all.
Really?
No. Not for a single. Lots of coppers in multicolored hats.
Oh God, I can't stand it.
BA with their gay. It was just
Corporate gay pride.
Yeah, corporate.
It is gay.
And
It is
to me,
corporate, very much
Very
so.
subversive.
yeah, right. You know, and also for every single person that was the gay guy or girl that was there, there's another 10 gay people at home across the country looking at that, thinking, "I don't know what this means.
This is embarrassing.
This is not what we are."
And when I used to work in gay clubs, because people knew my brother was gay, and we were down the gym a lot and quite beefy at that time. I used to get asked to work in gay clubs because they thought I was gay friendly, which I am. But it was never, you know, it was never a big deal. It's just these are a bunch of blokes who've come into a club because they don't want to go to a regular club.
Yeah.
It wasn't politicised. There was no mystique. It was just an event.
Well, there used to be a gay club not so far around here, and like it was just part of our pub crawl.
Yes, exactly. Well, exactly. Yeah.
Because no one cared.
No.
No. Who cares?
But then the weird thing is, I went out with a guy for about a year after Stuart passed, and he worked in a gay club, and it was open to everybody. Yeah. So straight couples would go in.
Well, they didn't check you. They never used to check me anyway.
No, but the only people who complained about straight couples going in were gay men.
That's weird,
Presumably because they were wasting their time having a crack.
Because we don't want to watch straight people snogging.
That's a bit weird
And
as well.
so it's like being a Jewish Nazi. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
You know.
Anyway, let's carry on quickly with the drag queen story time because
Yeah.
this was very interesting.
Love has no age.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a very. I mean, they deleted this.
That's a bad mess. I mean, in a way, they're right, but the underbelly,
Subtext.
the subtext.
It's
Sorry,
sex.
is weird, isn't it?
I mean, if you were a paedophile, that's what you'd say.
Yeah.
Is
Yes, you
basically
would.
the
Yeah.
Isn't
problem.
it maps mutually
Mutually
attracted.
minor attracted.
attracted people? Yeah.
Oh, that's-
Yeah. And it's I watched a thing on TV some years ago about a paedophile, like a police operation on paedophile. And what was interesting with one of the guys, his whole thing was, I don't know what the problem is because they're tempting me.
It's their fault.
It's their fault. I don't know why you're going after me. It's their fault. The whole thing for him was...
Should we arrest these children then, shall we?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just interesting, isn't it? Because if you if you look at a broader view and you buy into the satanic child ritual, sex trafficking,
Yeah.
As an
Jeffrey
umbrella,
Epstein thing.
yes,
Right.
Jeffrey Epstein, and what we're told about some of the elites.
What was the temple on his island about?
Well, yes, exactly.
I
And
just want
then
answers.
you see this, you think, well, maybe with globalism comes this.
Yeah, maybe.
You know,
Like I can understand why there are lots of people who feel that these things are connected.
yes.
But the point is, they had to delete this because I mean it's just a really bad look.
Oh, they did delete it.
Oh yeah, they deleted this tweet because
right.
it looks terrible, and they called it an accidental tweet, and it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, of course it was.
It looks
Yeah.
accidental. It
Looks really
accidental.
accidental, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm very persuaded.
Yeah.
But anyway, so people have been objecting to this. People, complaining in Wales, posting leaflets.
Why are they always far
Far
right
right.
groups?
To be fair, in their defence, this actually was.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I take that back.
But
right.
but you are right to
Yes.
say, because like in every other case, it's a normal group.
yes,
But this actually was a far right group. But I
Right.
mean, it's not wrong to
Right.
say maybe we shouldn't have this stuff for children. I mean,
Right.
Right. Well,
You
is that what their leaflet was about?
Yes,
Right.
it was just about this as far as I understand.
Right, okay.
I mean, the leaflet read, Drag Queen Store Hour is yet another attempt to sexualize children. Subjecting children to these lessons and forcing them through LGBT indoctrination sessions is nothing short of child abuse.
Right.
They're not wrong.
Right.
They might be a far right group, but they're not wrong on that.
Right.
okay.
But anyway, so
Yeah.
on 3 days ago, in fact,
Yeah.
there was an event in Reading, and people decided to storm it. And
I think I saw this. Yeah.
yeah, these weren't the same far right group. These were different people, as I understand it. They appear to be mums from Mumsnet.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
Typical far. I mean, which is probably quite far right. Actually. It got quite rowdy apparently,
Did it?
and
Right.
yes, and Mr. Samuel was escorted out of the event as demonstrators chanted "paedophile."
Oh,
It's
Aye,
like,
aye,
well,
aye, aye.
I mean, I don't know that Mr. Samuel is a paedophile.
No,
I've got no
not
proof of that.
necessarily.
No.
It's just that he appears to be wearing a paedophile's costume. And it's,
Paedophiles have costumes now?
well, yeah,
They should be easy to spot.
they wear drag in libraries.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. Okay.
And if he didn't wear drag in a
Okay.
library, then and he tweets out things like "love is love" and "love has no age."
Oh, okay,
and it's just like, yeah,
Okay.
like it just looks bad.
Yes, it does.
And so I can understand the mothers who are like, "Look, you're grooming the child. This is disgusting. You're doing it for you." Like she accused him of essentially being an autogynephile, which maybe, this isn't about the kids, is it? If you want to teach kids, you just sit there normally
Yeah, exactly.
and
Exactly.
teach them normally. No,
mean,
you're doing this for you.
I mean, if you wanted to play devil's advocate, what you would say is that you're trying to accustom children at a very young age to the reality that some people want to dress like
the
that.
diversity,
To the
yes.
diversity. But
But that never happened with you.
It
and
never
you
happened
were
with me.
fine with it.
I was fine with it.
So
no, I mean, I agree with you. It's
If for
What-
example, so I can
Yeah, go
say,
on.
if for example, in this situation,
Yeah.
it was a children's entertainer with these three ladies,
Yes.
and then the drag queen came in, whatever this guy's name is,
Yeah.
and comes in, and they say this is a drag queen.
Mm-hmm.
He's a man who dresses up as a woman, and that's his profession. I have no problem with that. But twerking
right.
and sexualizing the performance, my daughter's 24. If this has happened to her
Oh,
15 years ago,
Oh, yeah,
I'd go in there with a bat.
well,
I would, seriously.
I mean, it's much worse than America. Now, in Mr. Samuel's defense, he doesn't do any twerking.
No,
I've
I didn't
seen.
say he did.
That I've seen.
Yes, okay.
And I've seen a few videos, and he is just dressed up. But the problem is, in America, they didn't begin by twerking either.
No.
But that's how it got.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and it began maybe as something that maybe Mr. Samuel is being completely innocent about all of this.
Yes.
Right.
But then maybe a paedophile will see that and be like, oh, if he can do it, then
Yes,
I
yes,
can do it.
yeah.
Well, like the other one you've shown,
Exactly.
who
Like-
did the one who was arrested at Wimbledon Station for
Absolutely.
grooming.
And the other one that Snopes had to admit in
Yes.
Houston, that was a nonce.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, and so I can understand why the mums are like, look, we think you're grooming our children to accept things
Yes,
that I don't
yes.
think they should be accepting.
Yes.
Throughout this conversation, right the way back to spike proteins and Boris Johnson and the drag queen thing, and the Vers thing, the whole thing is about division. That is the underlying the one common denominator throughout all of this is turning one person A against person B.
Yes.
That's what it's. I think that's what it's about. And I think this thing is it's sad because it gets people that reading children's stories should be a pleasant and easy thing. It
should be wholesome.
and it should be wholesome and
Yeah.
kind of. Kids of that age, they're going to have sex problems throughout their entire lives. They don't need it when they're 5.
They don't need to know.
They don't need to know.
And also, growing should be organic. So you can't force information. Well, you can,
Well, you
but you
shouldn't.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my youngest is nearly 2, and my middle one's 7. And my oldest is 12. And with the 12-year-old, I'm desperately trying to stop her from finding out about anything at this point, because obviously,
Isn't it a weird age?
it's very strange.
Yeah.
I remember my daughter 12 to about 14. You've got this weird transition.
Yeah.
1 minute she's on some really
Yeah.
childish computer game,
And then she's
the
doing
next
her
minute-
makeup.
and then the next minute she's an adult, and it's
Yeah.
it's very,
But it goes
very
backwards and forwards
It
too.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's very peculiar.
terrifying.
When we were kids, just very, very quick, as an example of where the trust thing has gone. When we were kids, we went to Ibiza with Mum and Dad. And Mum and Dad were a young couple then, although I didn't realize, I thought they were probably nearly dead, but they were probably quite a young
As you
couple.
always do,
Yeah. And they wanted to go to San Antonio where there were some nightclubs. And they put our waiter, who we'd only known for about 3 or 4 days, whatever his name was, I can't remember.
Carlo.
No.
Was it?
I can't remember. He was looking after us, so we spent the day with him. I was probably about 9. Fred was about 6,
yeah.
and we spent the day. He took us to the seaside, and we went swimming together. And everything. You would never do that now.
No.
You would never do that now
wouldn't even
because
be thought.
no, because the trust in all sorts of of levels has completely disappeared now. And the minute I saw coppers having to wear cameras, I didn't think that was a good thing. I thought that was a really bad thing because what that tells you is nobody believes what you say. And it's not a good thing.
Just go back to this. It says the group, which says its performers are DBS checked. Is that database security or something? Was that?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's okay. It says they're database checked. What does that mean that they are?
Well, I mean, they claim it. I mean, I'm not going to say they're not. But again, the problem is this is yet another American import that didn't end well in America.
No,
and people are objecting to it and actively protesting it. There was another one in Bristol that happened, but we'll skip over this quickly. If you can carry on.
What on earth?
This again, this in and of itself is not actually terrible.
Right.
But the problem is this isn't isolated. It's
Right.
not in a vacuum. It appears to be one stage on a process.
But also, sorry, once come
Yeah,
on.
that's right.
What as Fred was saying, if you had the drag queen sitting there and one of the teachers sitting there reading the story and then introducing the guy and saying, "This is Carl, this is David, whatever, and this is how he likes to dress, and this is what he does." You approach it in a non-sexual, educative kind of way. This is all a bit. I don't know. It's just not right. I can't
there's something
put my
about
finger
it,
on
right?
it,
But it feels a bit sinister. That's the thing. Because again, it feels like, okay, but even if you are a drag queen, right? And I don't care. I literally.
No, my other half was a drag queen for years.
I don't care. I'm happy for you to be happy and go and have fun in nightclubs and stuff like that. Why do you want to do it to children?
Why do you want this audience?
Yeah,
exactly. That's the thing that makes me incredibly sus.
Unless they believe that if you get the kids early to accept what they are, they will grow up being much more ready to.
But we've got a tolerant society
Well,
anyway.
I would have thought, I would. Where was this? Was this Reading?
This was in Reading. Yes,
this was in
Reading.
Reading. Okay. Right.
There's more protests and things like that in Bristol. But we're running out of time, so I'll have to stop.
Okay.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast or the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as this premium video by Carl on Nietzsche's critique of critical race theory. If you want to follow what else he's putting out, you can follow him on Getter at @CarlBenjamin on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.